Okay, we're going to discuss the person of the counselor. What I'd like for you to do is just in your head or on a piece of paper, make a list of quote-unquote good helpers that you know. Think about what makes a good helper, why they are a good helper. Are they overall a good helper? Are they, for most of the time, you can depend on them. And just make a list of those good helpers, just the names. Now, for each individual that you listed, I'd like for you to write the positive attribute or attributes that you feel make them a good helper. Why would you go to them for help? Why would you send your closest family member whom you love and care for deeply to that person for assistance? For example, I have a friend of mine who is a nurse, very good nurse. And I know that I could send my closest family member to her and they would be in excellent hands. And the reason why is not because of her nursing knowledge, but because she is a caring, compassionate person who wants to see her patients reach full healing. She's got that ultimate goal. And so it shows in everything that she does. So think about those attributes. So when you're looking at these attributes, what do these people have in common? And what are their differences? Are they spiritually minded? Are they caring and compassionate like my friend is? Are they supportive? Are they a good listener? What are some of the things that they have in common, and what are some of the things that maybe one is more caring and compassionate, more of a good helper? You'd place them a little bit higher on that list because they have this quality, whatever this is for you. And think about those things. Okay, so now I want you to list 3 individuals, and yes, only 3, that you would consider not to be a good helper. 3 individuals that you would not send your closest family member to, the person that you love and care for deeply to at all for support of any kind. Medical, mental, what have you. These are the 3 individuals that you would be telling people, even your enemies, do not go to this person. Kind of that list. Okay? Write their attributes or attribute that places them on the list of not a good helper. Maybe for them, it is they're mean. Maybe they cut corners. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're doing their job just to get a paycheck. And it's not because they're invested. Whatever that attribute or list of attributes are. Kind of think through those things. Now, what do these non-good helpers have in common? Or what are their differences? Maybe they all have this in common, and that's why. Maybe they are all narcissistic type personalities. Maybe they don't fit the DSM quality of narcissism, but there's just something about them that's narcissistic. Think about those things. Okay, now let's look at yourself. This is the hard part. As a counselor, we must know ourselves. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What about your past makes you a good helper? Or what about your past can impede your helping ability? What are your motivational factors to be in this profession? And think about these things as they align to good helper or not a good helper. Where do you see yourself falling on these 3 topics? Because if you see yourself falling in the not a good helper category, then these are things that you definitely want to work on between now and graduation. Let's think about it further. How well do you know yourself? What are your values and knowledge when it comes to money and status? What are your knowledge and values when it comes to gender roles? What if you're working with a couple who they're very traditionalist, and the husband likes the fact that he's the hunter and gatherer, if you will, and he goes out and works, and the wife is the homebody and she takes care of the kids and food and things like that, and it works for them. But that's not how you are. So think about these gender roles. Think about family composition. What do you believe makes a good family? Is it people who love each other? Is it not even your biological family, but friends and support system? What makes a good family for you? What do you feel like is a fair and good parenting style? These things will come up in sessions, and how you handle these topics, again, will put you in that category of excellent counselor, good helper, or not a good helper. Because what happens is how we think on these topics and then how we come across to our clients makes or breaks us. Let's keep looking at this list. What are your knowledge and values about sexuality? Is it that you should be with one man and one woman and it be in the confines of marriage? Is premarital sex okay in your mind? Is polyamorous relationships okay? How do you feel about these topics? And I'm just listing the ones off the top of my head. Not necessarily all of them. How do you feel about religion and spirituality? Are you like my recent client who thinks religion and spirituality is ridiculous, and people who believe in a soul are crazy? Or do you have a belief in a soul, but you're not really a follower of a specific religion? What do you see in religion and spirituality for yourself? Are you all the way to the opposite extreme, beat you over the head with the Bible or Quran, or name your book, Torah? Are you on that end of the spectrum? What are your thoughts on health and wellness? Are we holistic beings? Is it body, mind, and soul? And what do you think about giftedness? Are people gifted in a certain area that maybe somebody else has to work to build that skill? Again, knowing these things and how you approach these topics is going to make you either a really good helper or not a good helper. And then finally, self-care. What are your thoughts about self-care? We use that word a lot, and we talk to our clients about the importance of self-care. But I really wonder how many of us in this profession do self-care. How many of us take care of ourselves physically? I know this is an area I can grow in. I could walk more. I could exercise more. It's a matter of choice. And I can see the difference whenever I exercise versus when I don't. Mental and emotional. How many of us are willing to go and speak with a professional when we are struggling mentally and emotionally? Again, we suggest it to our clients that yes, counseling is good. But are we willing to use it for ourselves? Are we really willing to utilize that avenue to help ourselves? That's where a lot of therapists, I think, get themselves in trouble, is the mental and emotional. It is okay for a counselor to see another counselor. Over 10 years, I've worked with a handful of counselors who just secondary trauma or life circumstances happened. I had a traumatic event probably about a year and a half ago, and I went and spoke with somebody for a little bit. And so it is good, it's valuable, it's needed to focus on our mental and emotional health, because again, if we're not taking care of ourselves, how are we going to be there for other people? How do we take care of ourselves relationally? Do we remove the toxic people from our lives that are doing nothing but bringing us down? What I find interesting is that whatever you're struggling with in these 4 areas, God tends to bring along your path a lot of clients that are all about that particular issue. And it's like he uses it to be able to say, are you doing this? You're telling them to do this, but are you doing this? And so we have to take care of ourselves. What do we think about spiritual self-care? The importance of going to church, or going to the mosque, or meditation, or for some people, yoga. I say some people because I've never been good at yoga. Some like meditating. You hear in the church, people will meditate on the word. And then you hear outside the church meditation on nature and things of that nature. So look at this list. Again, how we deal with this list, how we take care of ourselves, puts us in the good helper category or the not good helper category. These are things that I want you to really focus on and really see where you can do some improvement for yourself. And take it one step at a time. What I tell myself and clients is pick the top 2 or 3 things that you want to work on. And then start working on those things. So like for myself, physical, I could grow in that area. The rest I do okay with, I could grow in the physical area. So what I would do is between now and whenever, I would work on adding physical exercise to my daily routine. And I will tell you, part of my motivation is watching my child work out. I say child, he's 20. And that's my motivation, is seeing what he's doing and seeing him making that choice to take care of himself. And so we use external motivations, like sometimes it's our clients or our family members, and we also use internal motivations. Internal is going to be longer lasting than external, but you start where you can. So think about these things, and I want you to really consider where you need to work.